Hello students, today we are going to learn 10 Science 1, Chapter 3, Chemical Reactions and Equations. In this session we will discuss about the physical chemical change, chemical reaction and how to balance the chemical equations. Now first let's know about what is mean by and compounds. So compounds are formed by a chemical combination of elements. Here you can just observe that how H2O molecule is formed. Here two hydrogen atoms are given and one electron is revolving in the outermost orbit. Oxygen atom, it will contain the 6 electron in the outermost orbit. So for completion of the its octet, by giving, taking and sharing of electrons, it will complete its octet and it will form a H2O. That means the water molecule compound. Another example is of compound is ammonia. That means NH3. Hydrogen and just as in water molecule. So these are the some examples of compounds. So here first let's know that what is mean by chemical and physical change. So this is an example of physical change. You can here observe that melting of ice cream. That means it just changes its state. Okay, if we refrigerate again, it will gain its original state. So this is a one type of physical change. There is no change in the composition of a substance. This is another example of melting of ice, and this is also change in its state. So this is a one type of physical change. Okay, now chemical change means this is a one example of photosynthesis. Green plants are making their food with the help of the sun and carbon dioxide and water and form carbohydrates, and they will release the oxygen. So this is a one type of the chemical change, because there is a change in the composition of substance. That means new substance is formed with a new different property. Burning of a bread is also one chemical change. Okay, this burning of a paper, it is also, it form a carbon, and it is a one type of a chemical change. Okay, so the in chemical reaction the composition of matter changes and this change remains permanent. On the contrary, the physical change, that means there is a change in the state of matter. This is a temporary in nature. So let's solve one activity. Here some phenomena are given. We have to identify that which are physical and which are chemical change. Now here we can just easily identify that transformation of ice into water. So this is a physical change. Cooking of food, ripening of water, milk turn into curd, these are all chemical changes because they form a new combination of substances. They change in their properties. So evaporation of water, if water get condensed, these vapors are get condensed, it will form water. So this is a one type of physical change. Digestion of food is a chemical change, and size reduction of naphtha balls exposed to air, this is also chemical change. So first we have to identify that which are physical and chemical change. Now in this chemical reaction, this is a process in which some substances undergoes a bond breaking and new substances are formed by new bonds. So here reactants and products are very important. Reactant means the substances which are taking part in a chemical reaction are called reactants. These are on the left side of the arrow. And product means the substances which form as a result. Okay, this is a newly substance form which is on the right side. And for example here carbon plus O2, it will form carbon dioxide. Here carbon and oxygen, these are two reactants, and carbon dioxide, this is a product. So we have to write the chemical reaction. So for this we have to first write the word equation. For example, copper sulfate plus zinc dust. Copper sulfate means CuSO4, zinc means Zn, and it gives aqueous means the solution in water of zinc sulfate, that is called ZnSO4, plus copper means Cu. Okay, so the representation of this chemical reaction with this chemical formula, that is called as a chemical equation. So writing this chemical equation, there are some rules. We have just seen that what are that the reactants are on left side and the product on right side. Also, if there are two or more reactant and product, we represent with a plus sign. We have to give the information about whether they are gaseous, liquid state or solid state, or whether they form a solution in water. That means these are called as aqueous solution state. And we have to also write down that the temperature, pressure, catalyst or heating process is going on below and above the arrow, indicating that the direction of the reaction. For example, here vegetable oil is liquid state, hydrogen in gaseous state, and it will use vanaspati ghee which is in solid state. So this arrow represents the direction of the reaction. Here degree temperature is given 60 degree. In catalyst, nickel is also used. So this is a complete it giving the complete information in this chemical reaction equation. So special information, that means here we have to write down their names also below the molecular formula. So this is known as a copper, this is nitric acid, and this is a nitric oxide gas plus water. So we have to also write down the names. Now let's balance this chemical reaction. Balancing is most important. For example, here one example is given. This is a disulfuric acid, liquid state plus water, it gives the sulfuric acid in liquid state. We have to balance, that means we have to, for example, here hydrogen atoms, how many hydrogen atoms? These are reactants, this is a product. So here 2 plus 2, that means 4 hydrogen atoms, here only 2 hydrogen atoms. That means number of hydrogen atoms are not balanced. We have to balance likewise this. So we have to go stepwise. For example, in reactant and product, we have to write the number of atoms. Here hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. 2 plus 2, it contains 4 hydrogen atom, 2 sulfur atom, and 7 plus 1 means 8 oxygen atoms. This is on the reactant side. Now on the product side, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen, it will contain 2 hydrogen atom, 1 sulfur atom, 4 oxygen atom. So this is not balanced. We have to, if we multiply this by 2, we will get 4. Multiply by 2, we will get 2. Multiply 2 by, we will get 8. That means it will balance. If we multiply all these by 2, that means this by 2. Okay, so we will get 2 multiply by 2, 4. 2 into 1, 2. 2 into 4 is 8. So our equation becomes, we have to multiply this product 2H2SO4. Okay, H2SO4 by 2. So now this is a balance equation. Okay, so let's take another example. Here on the reactant side, we have to write first the how many number of sulfur atoms, oxygen atom and hydrogen atom. It will contain S plus S, that means 2 sulfur atoms, oxygen 2 atoms and hydrogen also 2 atoms. So now number of atoms of sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen on product side is 1. Here oxygen is 1 and 2 H2 means 2 hydrogen atoms. So we have to balance on this. So first let's balance the number of atoms of oxygen. Okay, so on reactant side SO2 contains oxygen atom and H2O contains oxygen atom. Here 2 oxygen atom, 1 oxygen atom. So we have to multiply this by 2. So we have to multiply by H2O by 2. So our equation becomes SO2 plus H2S gives S plus 2H2O. Now oxygen atom is balanced. But what about the hydrogen atom? 2 2s are 4. Here 4 hydrogen atom, here are only 2. So we have to balance it. So in H2S there are 2 hydrogen atoms and in 2H2O there are 2 2s are 4 hydrogen atoms. Okay, so we have to multiply these 2 by 2. That means this H2S by 2. So our equation becomes SO2 plus 2H2S gives S plus 2H2. Now what about the sulfur? Here you can observe that this sulfur and these 2 sulfur atoms, so it will give the 3 sulfur atom on the reactant side. Okay, in SO2 there is a 1 initially sulfur atom, in 2H2S there are the 2 sulfur atoms. Okay, and on the product side there is only one sulfur atom, so these 2 plus 1, this becomes 3, and here only 1, so we have to it multiply by 3. Okay, this S we have to multiply by 3, so our equation becomes SO2 plus 2S2S gives 3S plus 2H2O. Now this is called as a balanced chemical equation.